Now, with protests and insecurity erupting across Nigeria as the country heads towards elections in 2023, more than ever before, the internationally popular musician and political activist Femi Kuti is vocally using the power of his position and his songs to speak up on behalf of ordinary Nigerians. He's of course following in the tradition of his late father, the legendary Afrobeat pioneer Fela Kuti, and his grandmother, the political campaigner and women's rights activist Fumilayo Ransome Kuti. But today, Femi Kuti has cut his own unwaveringly forthright path, establishing himself as a hugely successful artist, independent of his father's massive legacy. But he stayed true to his family's politics, raising his voice consistently against injustice, mismanagement, and human rights abuses. Well, let's bang the drums with delight now as we welcome Femi Kuti, who joins me from Lagos. Great to see you, Femi. Thank you very much indeed for making out the time to talk to us. And as you continue to espouse the philosophy of the Kuti family, which is unquestionably one of the most significant musical dynasties in Africa, as well as the political activism that is associated with the Kutis, I wonder what you see when you look at the approaching 2023 presidential election.
What I see or what I feel? I fear, I see a lot of confusion. It's scary. What's happening in Nigeria now is very scary.
So, I mean, from your point of view.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not sure you heard me there. I was saying, tell us about that fear that you have. Tell us more about what sort of fears you have about the approaching storm, as it were.
I mean, first of all, the security. Nobody's safe anymore. NLC is threatening. I think today I saw in the news that they will protest and not even let the elections hold. So there are so many forces trying to disrupt the elections next year. I think there are forces that don't even want that election to hold. But I think most importantly, security. I don't see how elections will hold if there is insecurity in the country right now. And it seems, when we hear all the reports today, it seems it's going to get worse. And the government seems to not have any answer to this very important issue. This issue has been going on for far too long. Now the Senate, as we hear today, want to impeach the president. This should have happened long ago. Why did they wait till now? So many people have already lost their lives. I mean, we hear of kidnappings, killings every day. Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. The last, the prison outbreak in Abuja. Abuja is how many hours away from Lagos? So if we are thinking Lagos is rosy or where we are, Ogun State, how many hours is it? So nobody is safe in this country right now. The weapons we see these bandits or terrorists or whatever you want to call them have, it's scary. It's scary. I mean, so I'm very afraid for the future of this country.
Well, I think a lot of people would agree with your sentiment there. But you mentioned the other big problem, which is the issue of strikes that are ongoing at the moment. You were saying that you were hearing that the NLC and some others are planning planning to disrupt the election. I mean, do you support the strikes or don't you?
Do I support the strikes? Wow. I mean, all my life I've seen strikes in Nigeria, and I don't know, that's a very big question for me. I mean, the strikes, the universities should have been, we should have the best universities in Africa today. So how we got to this point doesn't amaze me because of bad government. We know the reason. So should we all down tools right now and not let elections hold? That's a very, I think elections should hold, so we know where we're going to, where the country should go. So I don't think the protest should disrupt the elections, because then it favors the present government. If they don't want to leave power, then they have a reason not to leave power. So we're giving them an excuse not to leave power, the way I see it.
That's a very interesting point. So let's assume that the elections are going to go ahead, which we all hope that it will. Are there any candidates that you think could make the difference with regard to the things that you and your father and your grandmother have fought for over the years? Anyone you think might fulfill those expectations?
Wow. I think I have my reservations of everybody, but you're putting me on a very tight spot, because you want me to choose somebody who I'm not even ready to choose out of all the candidates. But I'll put it this way: whoever wins, they will always meet people like me there to oppose bad government. I see, but if I think APC's candidate is too old. We don't need somebody old anymore. But then they'll argue that, that party will always keep on arguing. Everybody will keep on arguing about their candidates. So I'm not ready to go into and start arguing and waste my life, my time arguing with anybody. But one thing I can assure anybody is whoever wins that election, they should be ready for the generation to oppose injustice, corruption again, and this will go until Nigeria becomes a great country again. So people like me will always stand steadfast and keep on speaking out against injustice or bad government. So I'm not convinced about anybody. I believe one of the candidates has a lot of support right now, but then I have my reservations because of his participation in previous governments. Even if we don't see corruption, I never heard him oppose corruption in his party or whilst or anywhere, and I would have loved to have seen that. Which does not mean this candidate is not a good person or cannot change the situation we find ourselves in Nigeria. If anybody wins and starts to take us to this promised land that we have been promised since independence, of course, people like me will always support said person. You see, I'm very careful not to mention names now, because I still have huge reservations of everybody in this political scene. Because from 1999, I saw nobody took this change the way it should have been taken. And every time Nigeria goes into problems, everybody starts to remember Fela and says, oh, Fela said this, Fela says this, but everybody keeps voting people who Fela has opposed in his lifetime. And this, what do you expect Fela's children to feel when things like this happen? What do you expect this family to feel when we see so much injustice towards the family? So I think we hold our reservation to this political climate that we find ourselves in. But we're not backing out, I would say. We're going to always stand steadfast, and we're going to oppose anybody who does not do what is right for the people of this country. Because we believe Nigeria should be in the forefront, making Africa the envy of the world. We have all the talents, we have the brains. Look, we have no excuses. We have no excuses to be in the predicament we are in right now.
Well, that's an exceedingly diplomatic answer that you've given there, but I have to admit that it's also an answer that holds a lot of promise. And talking about your father, I can't resist bringing him up because you've obviously brought him up. Was it a natural evolution for you to put yourself forward as a sort of vocal advocate of civil and political rights in Nigeria, especially because of the platform that you have, which is your father Fela Kuti's towering legacy?
I think it was a choice. I didn't see anything in my life that was more important. I didn't see the love story that was more important. I stay in a place called Alagbole Akute. The roads have been bad for like 20 years, and everybody just thinks it's fine. No matter what we say, the roads keep getting worse. I've been in a country that has deteriorated all my life. I've been able to travel worldwide. I've seen other countries. They have their problems too. But like I said, Nigeria has no excuse to be where we are right now today. Is it electricity? Is it health? Is it roads? Is it the salary structure? Look, there's no arm of our government that functions that everybody's content with right now. And so I don't think I'm being diplomatic with my answer. I just don't want to be brought into the social media battle of saying this person or that person, because like I said, I am not convinced about the political parties. I'm not convinced about the political climate. And so I want to stay in my zone and be ready to fight for change with my music and with the shrine and everything I've got. I want to give you another example. NLC, all my life I've always been going on strike, and I'm during my father's time, and I fail to see where they have really had a strike that has been meaningful and been successful, that has moved this country forward. So you see, again, when you understand the strikes in this country, when you understand the political climate in this country, you lose hope. But people like me still have to believe. I believe there is hope. If I didn't believe, I'll probably be in Los Angeles or anywhere else like many other artists. But I do come back home. I come back home to inspire, hopefully another generation. I come back home because I believe for my children. I believe for myself. We can't give up hope on Africa or Nigeria. So I come back, I defend the shrine, I defend the integrity of my family, myself, and I find purpose in doing what I'm doing in this respect. But I don't want to be drawn into any political argument with anybody. If you think Obasanjo is the greatest president, so good for you. If you think Buhari has done very well, I'm not going to start here arguing and wasting precious time arguing with anybody. We're all here together. We're all in Nigeria. Abi, one thing is, a lot of people have already left this country. The Anikulapo Kutis have still stayed, and we believe in fighting for a better Nigeria, Africa in general.
Well, that's a good position. That's very inspiring, listening to you talking there. But, I mean, your father took it a step further, though. I mean, he started a political party. He wanted to get involved in politics, and he took whatever belief he had and wanted to translate that into a difference. I mean, is that something you're prepared to do?
Charles, again, you have to understand, you see, I lived Fela's life with him. They didn't register his party. There were many times they stopped Fela. Fela died poor, you could say. It is Fela's children that brought his name back up. Fela was beaten several times. He lost his mother, he lost everything. How many people stood by Fela during all these trying times he went through? You know, everybody gave excuse. He likes women, he smokes, blah, blah. Look, we could go on this topic again. Charles will be here for hours. Let me explain it to you, Fela's life, my life. And again, you don't expect me to take the same route Fela took. I think Shehu has a political party, and I see how far he's getting with that political party. People sabotaging him, or he can't get here or there, or he gets frustrated. But he still has a political party. I mean, he's trying to have a political party. I'm not ready to invest wasted time on something I know cannot succeed. The only tool I have is my music, the shrine, my family, and the belief in myself, in remaining steadfast. And you see, this situation is so complicated. But you see, the way I look at Nigeria is when you understand slavery, when you understand colonialism, when you understand, there's no way we could probably be better off. It probably will not be in my lifetime. I understand that as well. But because of Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, my father, my grandmother, we still have to have hope. We still have to fight for Africa. We still have to we can't just commit suicide because there's a failed system. So, as much as I am pessimistic, I still have to be optimistic, if you understand what I'm trying to say. I still have to have hope. The shrine we built, we know what we have gone through to perform there free for 22 years. We know the corruption that goes in the shrine. This has nothing to do with the government. These are Nigerians trying to sabotage what we, fellow children, are trying to do. And is it the barman? Is it the security? Look, I can give you so many instances. Is it the plumber? Is it the electrician? I mean, everybody just tries to bring everybody's business down. But we are still here. We still have to believe. And I can give you many reasons. And I'm sure it's not just our business. Many businesses just get frustrated with our attitude as a people, which again, if the head is not correct, the rest of the body will not be correct. So the government has to be correct before we can see that light at the end of the tunnel. Unfortunately, we have had so many governments that keep giving us these promises, and we still find ourselves in a worse situation than before. Is it the Naira, the devaluation of the Naira? Look, there's no sector, Charles. And as we speak right now, we are all in fear. Are we going to all wake up to a country tomorrow? We don't know. This security is scary. It's scary. I'm afraid for my children. I'm afraid for my friends. I'm afraid that who knows what is going on. These terrorists we see and read and watch and we see on social media, the arms they carry. How did we get to this stage? How do we arrive here? And the senators are just today now saying they are giving the president 6 weeks. 6 weeks? 6 weeks today? I've been scared for the past, should I say, 20 years, that this route Nigeria has been going has been a failed route from 1999. Did Boko Haram just start? But they also saw the deterioration, how Boko Haram was progressing steadily, arming itself, and everybody, I mean, is it the embezzlement of the arms we read about in the papers? Look, Charles, I don't even have to tell you, you are a news person, you know all this I'm saying.
I have to say...
I don't want to get high blood pressure on your program.
Well, we certainly don't want you to have high blood pressure. And in fact, far from that, I think you're making a lot of sense, and a lot of people will be connecting with what you're saying, not just because of the way you say it, which is very lucid and articulate, but also because of who you are. And on that note, I mean, here you are, the first son of Fela Kuti. You talked about the challenges that he had to face. You talked about the challenges for your family, having to restore his name and his legacy. But what about the challenges for you? I mean, you're the first son of Fela Kuti. You're having to bear the fortune and the burden of his name. Has it been difficult for you being the first son and heir of Fela Kuti?
I would say at the beginning, nobody gave me the chance to be successful. I think even my father was skeptical about this. I think, but I found a way, and I'm glad. I think I had one of the most wonderful people behind me, my mother, who nobody speaks about, my maternal grandmother, my lovely, beautiful sisters, who have been pillars in my life. You see, fortunately, I've been surrounded by great women. And these women have always, in the most critical point in my life, have always stood by me and given me that strength to keep on going. I have a great band today. I have great, lovely, beautiful children. So family is everything for me. My band is my family. And I have great friends as well who are like family. So I don't think first son, legacy, I don't let those things pressure me anymore. All I want to do is practice. I still try to do 6 hours practice every day. I'm happy Made is progressing musically. I see so many beautiful things around me. So I don't let negative attitude of some people who just want to say, you will never be like your father. You cannot be like your father. Wow, they have problems as far as I'm concerned, because if you are looking at that competition between my father and I, who I respect and love so much, and I never saw this as a burden in the first place. I just wanted to play music, Charles. You see, I just wanted to play music and express myself as a musician. And I didn't have the tools because I didn't go to school. I couldn't read music. I couldn't write music. And I just had to find a way. And when I found a way to express myself musically, I'm quite content. And now I've given my son all the tools I think I should have had as a child to express himself. So hopefully he'll take Africa, he'll take Nigeria to greater heights than I have or his grandfather. And I think anybody that even thinks about this comparison, these are the fundamental issues they have to look at. My life. What did Fela give Femi to excel with? You see, and if Femi has done this well, shows that given the opportunity, the African will excel beyond reasonable doubt. As we see in athletics or anywhere else, we have the greatest surgeons, we have engineers, and these are the beautiful things I see with my life and I see in a lot of people. Lastly, Charles, I had a boy who I adopted, who he didn't have his mother was so poor, his father wasn't there. He was doing better than my son. He's now finished in university. He's doing great. He was doing better than my child in school. I didn't say because he's doing better than my child, I'm going to stop him. I just saw, wow, he could become a surgeon. He could become a doctor. And probably one day, because of the education I've been able to give him, he'll probably save my life. Or God knows what he will become. I don't know what he will become, but I gave him the tools to succeed. And this is what the government must do for its people. We have to empower the young people because we don't know what these people, they are the ones going to leave this country. Look, like I said, the universities must be the best universities. We didn't care about Manchester, Arsenal, whatever the names of these clubs are. We cared about stationery stores, Bendel Insurance, ICT Shooting Stars. We went to the stadium. When Nigeria was playing, we went to the stadium. Now, if Manchester and Liverpool are playing, more people will probably be watching that match instead of being patriotic, watching and cheering our own boys. Nigeria should have at least 4 national teams that we can choose. All these boys and girls that are look, why? Where is the competition? Where is the, look, everything, we have lost everything. Why have we lost everything? Because of corruption. Like I said, Charles, if you get me worked up now, I will just go on and on and on. I don't talk, I don't have time to start arguing with anybody on social media. I don't have that time, but my stand in my life from day one has been clear. I won't compromise integrity, my integrity, the integrity of my family, what we stand for. They can lie, they can choose lies and dabble my life the way they like, but the truth will always be the truth, Charles.
Well, I have to say, Femi, that's a beautiful note to end on, and I really appreciate your opening up to us today. And clearly, from what I've heard and what I've seen, you're culturally and by extension artistically, musically, personally in a very good space right now, and I appreciate your sharing that with Nigerians. Femi Kuti, of course, the internationally popular musician and political activist and son of Fela Kuti. Thank you very much indeed.